You just
What's
jumped.
about to happen?
You
Because
jumped.
phones are just like something's about to happen. What?
It's a cult. So the thing is, we we
It's
want
different.
we want
Out of
to
nowhere.
we want to record just an episode, just I guess podcast, whatever you want to call it, and we want to be talking about, like, for example, there are guys who've played Mortal Kombat 1 now, right? And there's been like the road to Mortal Kombat 1's release. For example, the promotional materials, the trailers, the betas that were only accessible for pre-order peoples and stuff like this. All these things that NetherRealms was doing leading towards the release of MK1. And then when the game finally came out early access like last week for the people who pre-ordered, there were some issues, some problems. Some people
Early access was last week.
yes,
Just last week.
if you pre-ordered the game, you get to play it a week before the people who haven't bought the games.
5 days in advance.
Like what Call of Duty does, pretty much, where it's like
That's kind
pre-order.
of early access. Okay.
Yeah. So anyway,
It's on,
it's
it's
like
only if you
Yeah.
pre-ordered.
yeah, only
Wait,
for pre-orders.
and only for
Like,
pre-orders.
Yeah.
like if you only pre-ordered the premium edition, you gained access to the early access and even the closed betas.
Yeah.
But if you just pre-ordered the simple
The
edition,
standard edition, nothing. You only get Shang Tsung.
Ah.
So
You get Shang Tsung in early access 5 days before the game is released.
yeah, so it's like they were looking at this like business practice, and of course the experience of actually playing MK1 for the people who've played it, and then looking at it from the good side, from the bad side, and maybe contrasting it to Street Fighter 6, where it's like SF6 had open betas, SF6 has a demo, everyone can try the demo, it doesn't matter who you are.
Yes.
And you get to
Right.
experience the game. If you don't like it, don't buy it. That's your own problem. You know what I mean?
Yes, but the thing about the SF6, it was
And it was quite a while ago.
the only people who get the beta were the people they selected. So a lot of us did
I
not
know.
get the
There
Everyone got it, even I.
were 2 open betas in the end of April, beginning of May that were open for all. Like, for example, I never pre-ordered Street Fighter 6. I bought it like a month and a half after release, but I've got beta footage on my channel if you check the live section. Yeah, the ones before, you are correct, sorry, the ones before, like last year, those ones were totally closed betas and only for selected people.
Those are for pro players.
But
It's
then
like it's stressed.
this year there were 2 open betas for console, if I remember correctly, and there was 1 for PC. I think it was 1, maybe it was 2.
All I know is one thing.
Yeah.
Guys were on the demo, they cracked it, and they were able to play the game for
Yeah.
is it 6 months? 6 months before.
Pretty much 6 months. Yeah.
Yeah. So that was not cool at all.
Yeah, definitely
Big
not. Definitely not nice. What I can say is this, though, for those who are planning to compete, not good, right? So let's just say Mr. Crow King himself, who went to this Red Bull.
Oh my god.
Crow King at Kumite probably fought up against some cracked players without realizing it, right? It's possible that you played up against cracked players. You know what I mean? So it's like, in those regards, it's not good. In competition where there's money, it's not good. But then for someone like me, I wasn't even sure if I even wanted to play the game. You know what I mean? And I have not competed in anything. I haven't played any ranked match, nothing. So for me, I also look at it like, I would rather have had this situation where everyone had access to the game and those who cracked it decides to crack it, than to be restricted. Because, for example, I never got to play a MK1 beta or demo because it was totally restricted.
Also remember, it wasn't there for
choice.
PC, just strictly PS4, Xbox only.
Yeah, so it's
No,
like
and Xbox.
yeah,
PS5
PS5 and Xbox.
PS5
Xbox Series SOX, you could get it on. Those are the 2 places you could get it, and they did that, and I applaud them for doing that because they realized that people who are on PC are going to crack the game, just like they do with Tekken 8. You know, people are playing Tekken 8 currently, right?
yeah.
wait, are people in Harare playing Tekken 8 right now?
No, nobody. Well, maybe people we don't talk to, but the people I know, they have access to it, but they're not playing it because they're trying to be gods at Mortal Kombat and Street Fighter.
Mm. Okay. Nah. That's all right, man. That's all right.
But still, at the end of the day, PC didn't get no beta, but they still bought the game for MK1. So there's no excuse there.
Okay, maybe
Yeah, now
Was
they
it
have the game.
they botched not that they botched the game in the sense that it's dead, it doesn't work, right? So the known problems that have been there from the early access until like now that it's released like officially. In terms of the netcode, for example, people are kind of speculating or they are guessing that the game doesn't actually have peer-to-peer connections. It's running on triangulated servers, like what Street Fighter 5 would do when the connection is poor. Now the problem is that NetherRealms has no servers anywhere near Africa or the Middle East. So that means all the Africans and all the Middle Eastern players are hitting 300, 400 MS or more, trying to play each other in the same place. So that is already a problem, because it's like, all right, fine, MK11, MKX or Injustice 2, there were Africans who liked those games and it was working. So why turn away from that system and put this other system that clearly has issues, unless if it was a mistake? It doesn't make sense, because MK in terms of, like, let's just say MK11, the netcode worked for everyone.
It was better than it
Yes.
So why would they change it? That's my question. Unless if during the development of MK1, they were still developing certain systems and maybe they just ran out of time. That's what I think it is. Because it's like they did not need to create a new netcode. So this problem isn't as a result of we were trying to make something new. It's as if someone didn't do their job.
Yeah, it's actually... Sorry, I wanted to cut in there because
Go ahead, man.
that is actually what I've believed for the longest time. I've been telling people, I've been asking people in various groups, how can NRS just announce? I think they announced there's a new game in July. Is it July or
May?
I just
the very first trailer, I believe, was beginning of May or end of April, somewhere there.
And they're like, we
It hasn't been long, has it?
No, but they said we're releasing
I remember.
It was 18 May. 18 May.
Because now it was almost like there was a new trailer every 2 weeks.
No, but that's the thing. There were trailers, right? But they didn't give us combat casts. We go for weeks without combat casts, without knowing anything. And then they were like, and the smart thing is, they told people, if you want to play the beta, you have to pre-order. Right? So people pre-ordered. You pre-order gives you Shang Tsung. We didn't know anything about Shang Tsung until, because he wasn't in the
last combat cast. He wasn't the last combat cast.
Yes. When was the last combat cast? I think it was the 13th September. Game coming out on 14th September.
I can check that now.
So,
go ahead.
Yeah, check it. Maybe I might be incorrect. Maybe
the very last combat cast was 6 days ago, and I guess 6 days ago would have been Thursday last week.
Yeah, but wasn't that another different character?
That was Ashra. Which character should I look for? Shang Tsung.
No, that last one was Ashra and
Shang Tsung is also 6 days ago, according to the YouTube channel. So maybe they split it up.
So what's 6 days ago? Today is the 19th. No, it's not.
Thursday.
It's the 20th?
Today is the 20th. So 14th, which was last week, Thursday.
Yeah, it's 18th, 14th.
That's when they
on
uploaded.
On the day we got the game. You get it? Those who pre-ordered, on the day we get the game, we find out how the person we pre-ordered the game to get is. And yeah, Shang Tsung is broken, but everybody else is broken. They're gonna nerf them eventually. But the problem was, NetherRealm was so silent. So my worries were always, this game is coming out too early, because I expected Mortal Kombat
3 months
12 to be coming next year, not this year, next year.
Yeah.
And then they come
early
out
next year.
Yes. And then they come out and they say it's coming this year. I'm like, are you guys ready? And then I was asking in various groups, and people were like, no, we trust NRS. I'm like, how do you trust them? You're not seeing
I just
shit.
talk with Mitch.
Yeah, it's
Yes.
I'll just to add on to that one, then I'll keep quiet on it. It's like you're saying that people are saying like we trust NRS because of, I guess they feel like NRS has been doing well up until this point. But for example, as a PC player, I remember very well MK9 and MK10, and those games were always dead on arrival and needed multiple
Even
patches to
11
work.
was passed.
MK10 would freeze. MKX would freeze in the middle of you playing. So yeah, I remember.
And even 11 came out with issues of it would just
critical was unplayable, I remember.
disconnect your controllers. It would just, there were always bugs on PC. So I don't know how we can say trust NRS in that regard. For like the earlier consoles with MKX, they were like, yes, we're gonna make a PS4 and a PS3 version. Then they cancelled the PS3 version. Just like how with MK11 they promised, oh, everything will be fine, we'll release on all platforms at the same time, there'll be no issues, and then Switch never got one on time, and the PC one had bugs. Just like how now, at least there is a Switch port, but it barely works, and it looks really bad. So it's like, how can we say trust NRS, but it's like every game has problems.
May I chip in here?
Go ahead, man.
Yeah.
Yes. So what happens is, like as someone who did journalism and media studies, right? There's a particular course I did called Global Institutes and the Media. So don't forget that NRS is under Warner Brothers, right? So Warner Brothers and Discovery are the parent company of NRS. So these parent companies are the ones that set deadlines and the sales projections that they expect. Right?
Yeah.
So you're likely to find that the guys at NRS were actually planning this game, like for it to work in a certain way. But then the higher ups are like, you have to rush and finish up this game because we want to make money now. So remember the whole leaked NRS, Warner Brothers sales projection meeting, and then it leaked that MK12 is supposed to come out and they're expecting high sales projections. Those sales projections were going to come from the pre-orders that everyone went and got, right? Because everyone wants to gain access to MK1 immediately, right? So instead of them releasing a polished game, they just put together what they can in order for everyone to consume that particular product. Because I'm pretty sure if they gave themselves time, the development studio which which ported the Switch version, they would have done a better job than they did now. You see? Because I'm pretty sure they might have even considered maybe one more last gen port for MK1. But the fact that the time and also the expectations from the higher ups, they had to try and hasten a lot of things, because even like from my short experience with playing MK1, the certain combo routes where you think things are supposed to work, but then it doesn't work. You're like, bro, why? Like even sometimes if you're doing certain juggle combos and you want your assist to check at a certain direction, it inverts your input. And then your assist appears at a different place. So I just want to say, Uguti, the guys at Warner Brothers have already made their money. Now it's up for Ed Boon. No, that's the live, right? That's the live. Now it's time for Ed Boon and his homies to make the game better, because don't forget, the game was supposed to release with crossplay, but then crossplay is supposed to come out at a later date.
I have to ask you something. I have to ask. Sorry, Sasu, you can continue. I just have to ask. It's supposed to come out with crossplay, but now they're saying to come out later. It was the same thing with MK11. MK11, they said it was supposed to have crossplay. Then they said it will come out later, and then the crossplay the crossplay. No, it actually came out. Let me tell you what the crossplay was when they released it. The crossplay was that PS5 plays with PS4 and the Series X plays with Xbox One. That is cross-platform according to them. That a PS5 can play a PS4. I laughed.
That's backwards compatibility. That's not cross-platform.
To them, it's crossplay. That's it. Yeah, because
But
it's them being. They have the best thing I say is they have very good lawyers. So for them, it's them using the fact that they have very good lawyers to go and use different terminologies. Crossplay, it's still crossplay, even though it's
technically crossplay on paper.
Yes, it's crossplay still. So you cannot say
even if it's only for a Game Boy Color, it's crossplay.
But fair, fine. As a consumer.
But there was a crossplay beta in MK11 between PS and Xbox.
Yeah, I remember that one.
Yeah, and that beta, I haven't got the chance to play it. That beta was bad, bruh. Like you try and fight against an SA own who's using Xbox, and the connection would go from being 40 ms and consistently stay at 350 ms. Then you're like, bro, what the fuck, bro? You know? So then there even came a point when the crossplay just stopped working. Like you guys would connect, then you're just put it out of the online mode.
Exactly.
Yeah, so it's pretty shady. I remember when I think I'd sent this voice note to you, King, where I was like, it's no mystery that Capcom over the past maybe 7 years, so 1 year before SF5, had just been making mistake after mistake after mistake. That is not a secret.
Yes.
Then up until maybe end of 2019, after the success of Monster Hunter, they're like, okay, fine, we need to change this, you know. If this one game can actually make money from doing good things, then it's time we change the nonsense. So they started, they got rid of Yoshinori Ono, they restructured the company, all this different stuff was happening. Then they started hinting that Street Fighter 6 is in development under a new director. That was 2020. So from 2020 up until the betas last year and this year, people had roughly 2 years of marketing worth of Street Fighter 6. And then the closed betas came out. So even if I never got to play in any closed beta, the footage is there to see. If there was anything buggy, broken or wrong, you'd have seen it then. Then there were the open betas. Now I actually got to play the PC version. And I was like, well, I said this to Dada. I was like, I'm not really a fan of Street Fighter 6. I don't like it so much, especially the art style. I don't like it visually at all, and the gameplay to me doesn't feel nice. But I will tell you one thing, this game just works. That's the nice thing about it. It's like whatever I expect it to do, it does without much issues. That game works fine. The development, I feel like, was very polished with that game. I don't really know what bugs were there on launch because I never had it on launch. But when I got the game relatively is running smoothly without issues. Even the demo was running smoothly. So, but that's 2 years.
Yeah, bugs is not something that I've seen SF6 be.
Yeah, I don't think, I haven't heard anything. If they're there, I don't know about them. But the point I'm making is that there was 2 years worth of information marketing.
Yeah.
Some people can say it was too slow to release. Maybe COVID slowed it down. I do not know. MK1 showed their trailer, according to YouTube, 4 months ago, and the game is out now.
Yeah.
The thing is,
that is actually nuts.
With MK11, I remember I used to always record the combat casts, and I would make like my own little combat cast analysis video, whatever, on the channel, right? And it's like those videos, when they would have their combat cast, like the segments where they're looking at the characters, those were like maybe 30 minutes, 20 minutes per character, and they would really talk about the character and the mechanics. The combat casts for MK1, at most, I am seeing 12 minutes per character. And I feel like even as you are watching them and you compare them to the MK11 combat cast, they don't really have much to say. And most of the time, they're just actually playing. But with the MK11 ones, there was a lot of discussion as to the mechanics, what's going on, and the systems in the game, blah, 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 and how they affect the character. So a part of me just feels like this game, firstly, could have been a bigger project if they wanted it to be. And I feel like what it is now is not a complete project. I feel like it's smaller and how can I say, less complex and smaller than MK11. Like the scope is getting smaller of the development of these games.
Yes.
Okay, I want to add on to that. As a person who played Mortal Kombat 11 for a very long time, I think I have 200 hours clocked in. Stupidly, PS5 tells you how many hours you've played. What I realized is the fact that even though MK1 gameplay wise is better than MK11, they fixed the shit. No more crushing blows, no more flawless block punishes, those type of shit. Like they made shit good. They messed up on stuff that people were not complaining about. Like
interactables, they removed them.
They removed interactables. Yeah, it was Injustice thing. I hate that they removed interactables, but it's okay. What I hate, you go into practice mode and you try to learn things. You can no longer take the moves. So if you want to learn this move, that move,
yes.
you have to keep going, pressing start and doing that shit again. And if you change a character, you have to go back and fix the settings that you had set before. For maybe you don't want super meter, you want super meters always before or super meters to recharge. They made practicing a bitch.
Just so you can detect. Yeah.
Well, now in MK1, you're supposed to make sure that, like if you go on practice options, you're supposed to select that the game should remember the settings you set. You're supposed to select that.
Is there an option like that?
Yeah, it's there.
It's not. Is it default?
Option. I think that's too much for me.
Just open MK1, you'll find that option. So that option will remember your frame data, your meter, and everything else that the AI is supposed to.
It would be very strange to remove a quality of life
KRW
version of software.
King coming in here to save NRS from the fire.
No, here's the thing. Guys. Here's the thing. Like, I see a lot of potential with MK1, right? Like the whole assist and cameo system, right? I see a lot of potential in it, but right now, with the way the game is functioning, and for some cameos and some characters, it's not working, right? Like I'm someone who's I'm just gonna like, for me, right? I play a lot of these anime tag games like Blaze Blue Cross Tag, freaking Dragon Ball Fighters. I play Dragon Ball Fighters more than I play Street Fighter 6. So I get the whole assist system that they're trying to make use of, but if only they gave themselves a little bit more time. And like earlier today, we were discussing that if this game was a proper tech game, it would have worked properly. Like the characters that you use will also determine the type of matchup that your opponent is supposed to go through. Like imagine if, let's say, Aaron Black was in the game. You have your Aaron Black and you have Johnny Cage. You know that Aaron Black will have maybe a neutral assist in the form of his gunshots or whatever, and then Johnny Cage will have a block stun assist, which will keep your opponent locked down, and at the same time it will help you extend combos. But in this game, they were like, you know what? We don't have time to actually make a proper tech game. We're just gonna throw the characters we like the least and turn them into assists. Then everyone else is just gonna freestyle from there. That's what I've picked up so far. But from the 2 hours I've played MK1.
I would then step in and
the
say...
The cameo system didn't... Yeah.
I was saying, like, I would step in and say, like, they quote-unquote never had time to make it into a full tech game. The screenshots I was showing people were from 2014, where people were speculating that MKX would have a tag system like MK9, and it did not, and people were angry in 2015. In MKXL patch, people were like, okay, maybe in this patch it will become a tag, like there'll be some tag system, and it wasn't. Fast forward to before MK11 releases, so this is 2017, 2018, people are like, okay, this might be the one that has a tag system, and it didn't. So it's literally been 7 years of people saying the same thing online. Probably these are fans of MK9, but they've been talking for the past 7 or even 8 years. That is more than enough time to listen to people and what they're asking for. And they were not even asking for like the whole game be tagged. At least they were asking like, can there be one game mode? It doesn't even have to be a serious one.
Just like one, be everything.
Yeah, just one game mode.
Just like there's a tower.
Like test your might.
Why not?
That's all.
Exactly.
They weren't even asking for a full game. And I remember actually, if you want to, you can go watch the initial combat cast for MK11 when they were still revealing the game and the characters. There's a time when they make jokes that no, this will not be a tag game, and we know what the Reddit posts have been saying, and they laughed about it and continued. In multiple episodes. Go watch the combat cast for MK11 one after the other. You hear, because sometimes they would read the like some a certain user sent a message saying blah 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 blah. They would read it on the stream. So there were people who would keep on asking on their Twitter page like, yo, so is tag coming back? And they would always say no and laugh about it. This is not a new question. It's been since, I guess, MK9, people really liked the tag there for some reason. They really loved it. And they wanted it back as a game mode even. And they never got it. So time is not even a factor. They've known for 8 years.
Now it's weird. In MK9, there were some certain matches in story mode where you'd 1v2 certain characters. So tag was always there. And I'm trying to remember if there were certain elements like that in 10 and 11.
In the 10,
not in the story mode.
I never played 11, so I can speak about 10. In 10, in the story mode, whenever there would be a situation where a person is fighting multiple people, it's like you would beat that person, then there would be maybe a small cutscene, and it resets to the second person. Yeah. There was no more any tag.
I was trying to remember because it was a while ago, yeah. Because I was going to say if they could implement it in the story mode, they could have implemented it.
Yeah, so I don't know. I feel like in terms of the tag thing, they had time. Recently, I think a few days ago on the weekend, maybe, I was talking to D2. And I was trying to explain to him, like, he was like, we were talking about Street Fighter 6 and how I was crying, like, oh, I hate the art style, some guys in the groups took it as, I just hate the graphics and that's it. And then so I was trying to explain to Dal what I mean by when I say I hate a game's art style. So I was using MK1 as an example. So let's look at character models. The character models in MK1 are homogeneous in the sense that it seems like every guy is the same height, same width. Goro, Shao Kahn, or General Shao, whatever you want to call him, are relatively the same size as Scorpion, Sub-Zero, and everyone else. So it's like that in itself kind of robs the character. You know what I mean? The characters are getting robbed of what makes them what they are. You know what I mean? And this is just size. If you look at the female characters, there was a problem in MKX, or at least it was a problem for me. In MKX, if you took all the female characters and lined them up on the character select screen, they all had different designs in terms of their clothes and stuff, which is nice. The body structures were also kind of different. Back then, they were now going for the more non-exaggerated body parts that MK9 had. No more big breasts, no more big butts. Okay, all cool. More realistic women. But if you look at the head model was the same head across all women.
So Deborah,
the only difference,
Katana, Melina,
all the women had the same head. The only problem was that the hairstyle and the skin color changes. The perfect example is put Cassie Cage next to Jackie Briggs and then put those two next to Kitana. It's the exact same head. I actually see it. It's the same head with different hairstyles. This is what I say. When I say I hate a game's art style, I'm talking about these types of decisions. And I'm seeing it in MK1 in this sense. Mortal Kombat has always been, for example, the camera has always been close up, making the characters look bigger, and also the blows look heavier. With the advent of Injustice 2's success, all of a sudden it's unsure whether MK is now trying to be more like Injustice in terms of how it looks, or Injustice is trying to be more like MK. I do not know. That one I don't know. We look at MK11, it's got the same camera perspective as Injustice 2, almost the same. Character models are all homogeneous. The hard elements have no special effects. It's literally just meters that look like static graphics. They do not move, they don't shimmer, they don't shine. I haven't seen the game in real life, I've only seen it in videos, so maybe that could be it. I do not know. But the life bars and stuff, they have very static basic effects. Nothing amazing that I saw there. And then when you look at the special effects, when someone gets hit on block or on hit, they have the same special effects on hit or block as something you were seeing in Injustice 2, which was something that was never present in MK games. In MK games, there was impact, maybe there was a spark, and then there was blood. Where's the blood? I do not know. Characters' clothes are no longer getting damaged. I never saw anyone getting any scratches or blood on them. Maybe it's a setting in the settings. I do not know. But the thing is,
in MK1,
the thing is, it's like as MK is progressing, it seems to be becoming less MK. It's now this, I don't know, this circular game, this more mainstream game, whatever it's trying to be. I cannot tell the difference anymore. Like, if you were to
let's just keep it simple.
Yeah,
It's just Injustice with an MK skin. Let's just put it like that.
I would get, at least that's how I feel when I look at it. I can see many things that are Injustice about it.
Because if you think about it, you remove all these characters, these MK guys, and then put even Injustice. It's Injustice. That clash scene would have made sense in the start of the video.
Yeah.
It would have made sense if they put it in Justice 3.
But
why would they put it in MK?
That also doesn't make sense. It's now like, okay, fine, you pick characters and then they clash. It's the same animation, same sentence. Well, not same sentences, but they speak with similar context as the Injustice 2 Clash Breaker system. Then it's like, why?
Yeah.
Why? So it's like these things don't affect the gameplay. The gameplay is probably good. I do not know. I haven't played it. But it's like these things were never MK things. They were always Injustice things. So why are Injustice things in MK?
Very good question.
Why
If
is
they want,
MK not just being MK?
you can give an example. Like, for instance, King, you're a fan of Tekken, right?
yeah,
Would you want Soul Calibur to become like Tekken or the other way around? They're both made by the same company.
Even
but
I
they're totally different.
I would be angry if I saw, like, I really like Soul Calibur and it has Tekken characters in there. I would really be angry if that game started to look like Tekken, play like Tekken. I would really not like it.
I'm sorry, I have to cut
Like-
in. Like, I am sorry, I have to cut in, but I swear to God, like, they, Soul Calibur's Yoshimitsu is not as strong as the Tekken Yoshimitsu, but he is way better. Like, he is way better. Like, I never used to use
You're like, why can't he be like this all the time?
Exactly. Oh, he deserves to be on. He's actually at this point in time is more Soul Calibur. He's more a
Than
Soul
Tekken.
Calibur character than a Tekken character.
True story there, true story. That's the beauty though of having two games made by the same, I guess, parent company, but then they have such uniqueness about them, such that if you take one character and you put it in the other game, you're like, God damn, I wish he played like that in the game he came from. You know what I mean? That's just to show you how there's a uniqueness about Soul Calibur, just like how there's a uniqueness about Tekken. I feel like Injustice 3, if that will be a thing, you'll see something where you're like, is this MK1? You know what I mean? I have that feeling when I just think about it.
It's gonna be like that.
So,
Definitely.
in your opinion, what is the most injustice-y thing in MK1?
That's
Or even
everything.
two
The movement, the
things.
size of the characters.
Yeah, I think, okay.
Just a couple.
I'll name a few things. The movement, the size of the the size of the characters, and the camera
The
angle,
clash start.
the clash start, the
The
special
clash at the beginning, yeah. The clash at the beginning, yeah.
special effects on hit and block, is another one. The character select screen itself is just Injustice 2, but with a different skin in terms of how the boxes are shaped and how neat and clean it is.
The outros are shorter like Injustice 2.
I sat down with Dalu and I was comparing the outros of when you win from MK9 going to MKX. Those things are like, I was using Scorpion as an example. The Scorpion wins in MK9. He looks at the camera zooms out, he takes his knife, he stabs the ground, flames comes out, he jumps into hell, he looks at you, flaming eyes. You know, it's fucking cool.
Right.
In
I remember you took me back.
MKX.
Yeah, MKX Scorpion.
You used Scorpion a lot, huh?
MKX, I think Scorpion was getting a little bit older. He didn't have the flair so much, so he looks at you, flaming eyes. He screams, the hands are there, then he points at you, then flaming eyes, then Scorpion wins. So it's still nice. MK1, MK11, Scorpion was now just swinging the chain. He didn't want to move too much. And the thing is about the MK11 outros is that they were now borrowing more from Injustice 2. Injustice 2 outros is some very short action. Maybe Supergirl, she'll do the superhero pose, she'll bow down, and then she'll fly out, and then it will slow motion until it pauses.
Then they GIF it.
It's very like 3 to 4 seconds. It feels like a GIF. That's how it feels like. MK11 still had a bit more special effects. There was still a little bit more time, but it was less than XN9. So it was leaning towards being a GIF. If you look at MK1's outros, firstly, the cameo and the character you're using are not actually in the same plane of existence. It's like the cameo has a pre-recorded outro. Your character has a pre-recorded outro. They put them side by side and play them simultaneously. That's why the cameo and the character will never cross paths, because they don't even exist in the same shot. And the background is blurred, which means the background is just a picture. They are standing in 3-dimensional space with a blurred picture behind them. Then they let the 3D models play their pre-recorded outros. It's not even... Of course, making games is difficult and it takes effort, but I'm saying this outro in 1 requires way less effort than any other outro in the entire series. Because all you have to do is record each character's movements and then just put them on a blank 3-dimensional space and then put an image behind them. So you are playing GIFs. That's why you can mix and match cameos and there are any special outros or anything like that. Because none of them are actually interacting with one another. And that's why the one character will always be on one side and the other character will always be on one side. It's very, how can I say, cutting costs. That's what it feels like.
Exactly. From what you say, cutting costs. But so how does that justify them pricing the game more expensive than the previous one? And also the size of the games have tripled. Really, so they've cut... Yeah, well, $110 more. All the games were like $60 standard.
It's
copy.
PS5,
Now it's $70.
so yeah, it's PS5.
No, PC is $70. Whether it's a gaming machine or what, it's
no.
$70.
CD keys, you can get it for cheaper.
Now, if you're buying legally on
Steam, talking legally,
not a stolen code.
Yeah, the official price is $70. The official price is $70.
Sorry, guys. Shit.
Yeah, the thing is, the reason why you can maybe get cheaper prices on CD keys, even if let's say it's from legit sources, I can be some reputable somebody, and then I can approach NRS as a wholesale buyer of their keys and be like, can I buy your keys at whatever price in bulk? And then we negotiate a price. Therefore, I'm more flexible as to how much I sell them for. But then companies like Steam or Origin or whatever, they have their standards that they should follow. They're not just Joe. They're not Joe somebody. It's a corporate business. So yeah, and also some keys can actually just be stolen. I could be working at NRS and then I get, 1,000 keys from the system. And then I give them to you guys to start selling on websites. That is also a possibility. So yeah, with keys, the market is up and down.
Let's be honest, their projections are not on keys, it's the official price, and then late after that people can buy it for whatever price. As soon as people pre-order, they're using that 70 price tag.
Yeah.
So back again, does it, since they're cutting cost in outros, visual effects. Why is the game 10 times bigger than it was? First it was standard 40 gigs, 50 gigs, now it's 100 gigs, and it requires more hardware and it costs more.
I have to ask this question, but I guess it's for the people who've played the game.
How big was the game, Sasori?
On your
How big
PS4,
was the game?
114 on PS5.
Still the same.
114 on PS5. 140 on PC.
Oh my word!
And Charles, we haven't even talked about
goodness.
it running on old systems. Street Fighter 6, it will let, if you go to the the system requirements, it will tell you need like a 7th gen, but you don't even need a 7th gen.
I can check it now.
You don't need it.
No, Street Fighter 6, you can play it on PS4 or on PS5.
Yeah. Oh, and MK1 is only PS5?
Yes, only PS5.
What? Yeah. Okay, sorry, I didn't know that one. That I didn't know.
But
so you ask yourself, what's really
get
inside
that
the
Switch?
game?
We can get that Switch though.
Oh yeah,
that's
that Switch there though, for sure. Yeah, so it's shady, generally speaking. That it's like I was comparing like Bethesda to that. Where I was like, Bethesda does this. They will announce a new Fallout, or back when they announced a new Skyrim, they will usually announce in April. They'll always announce a release for 11 November is always their date. Starfield, I don't know what happened. They'll always announce some release maybe 6 months later. The game always comes out buggy, and then the people fix it with time. Same thing with Starfield. So it's like, it seems as if with this MK1, it's kind of...
Just give me a second today.
Yeah.
Starfield.
Yes.
Is barren.
It's barren.
It's not buggy. It's barren.
I've heard that it's empty.
That's very true. Sipo, if
it's
ever
shocking
you have
that
time,
No Man's Sky is getting a resurgence in popularity because of stuff.
And
I don't know what you Xbox guys are doing, but my friend has been playing Lies of P. I just found out today that Lies of P is basically Pinocchio.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's so weird that I didn't know. But anyways, I had already thought that Starfield was gonna win Game of the Year, but it seems like Baldur's Gate is going to be the one that's gonna win Game of the Year.
I ain't gonna lie.
Do you know what I found, Sean? Do you know what I found recently? This is in recent times, maybe the last 2 years or so. Anytime something comes out that makes somebody even remotely happy, it instantly becomes GOTY. So what you have is now a cascade of games that are GOTY. So it was Zelda. What's this new one? Tears of the Kingdom, whatever. GOTY. FF16
exactly.
did very well. GOTY. Baldur's Gate came out. GOTY.
We failed though. We failed though. I bet some money, like a lot of money. $200 to be specific. I said that if God of War comes out last year, it's going to win Game of the Year, and we all know what happened last year. Elden Ring came out last year.
You see now, it's like, so some people Lies of P. I've seen a GOTY comment for like 6.
Now, let me tell you the game that's gonna win Game of the Year.
You see now,
the game that's gonna win Game of the Year is Spider-Man.
You see now, GOTY.
No.
Yeah.
If Spider-Man 2 wins, I am never watching Game of the Year awards because they made people. They made us. In fact, I won't say they made people. They made us pay full price for Miles Morales, and Miles Morales was fucking DLC for the fucking first game. You're in the same city.
That should have been DLC for real. It would have been a super. You know what it should have been? So sorry. Did you ever jam Monster Hunter? Right, there was vanilla.
Monster Hunter was a bit too complicated.
Worlds,
Yeah,
right?
I have it.
And
What's
it was
Hunter
big.
Worlds? It was.
They followed up though with Iceborne. Iceborne is not a full game, yet it is.
Yes.
It's the
The
biggest
DLC.
DLC I've ever seen. That, in fact, I was impressed by Capcom because remember what Charles was saying at the beginning of this. He was talking about how Capcom was seeing flames for a while there until MH, when they sort of had that turnaround and started saying let's do things properly. And Iceborne was where they started doing things properly. They really treated the fan base well with Iceborne. The amount of extended content that came out there was like another game, yet it was not. That's what Miles Morales was. It wasn't a full game. It should have been something like Iceborne, with a sort of extension, $30 maybe, because it's huge and it had continued support for a long time. But yeah,
I want 2015.
but Miles, they hit it as if it was Spider-Man 2. It sounds Miles like Spider-Man 2.
And that's
And
the
also-
thing. That's why I'm so hesitant about this new one. I'm like, you already sold us stories.
I'm not hesitant about the new one because you can see that this one was planned as a 2. Much was there. I was like, this is too soon. Even when I saw it, I was like,
Let me stop you there, bro.
This is
because
Iceborne.
You know why I'm hesitant about this one?
Mm.
Because I feel like, yes, it will be a different story, but it's basically now they're just giving you the option of using Peter Parker. You can switch between Peter Parker and Miles Morales, right?
Yes.
But it's gonna be
New
the same
features,
game.
new buttons. So sorry. That's how it works.
Is that all you want? If it's all you want,
That's,
then
no, it's
that game
not
is not
our-
really game of
all I
the
want.
year.
It's not about what it's what sequels are. That's what they are. Just a couple of new
But
buttons,
it's
couple
not-
of new
it's not-
textures.
But it's not winning game of the year, though. I'm saying that.
Well, the thing is, it shouldn't. I don't think it will. There's no chance with what is going up against this
One
year.
thing I have to ask you guys, sorry to butt in, but it's like I believe a game to qualify to be game of the year has to release on that year, right?
Thank you. I wish it was the case.
It's not the case because I was about to make an
wish
argument that
it's not.
As much as I love Baldur's Gate, technically it's a 2020 game. Because I started playing it in 2020.
All right, can I also say something to you?
Go ahead.
We're in 2023, right? 2022, 2021. Resident Evil Village DLC was a part of the game of the year stuff.
I have to. Sorry. I love Resident Evil.
Yeah.
We know this one. But that DLC was ass,
You
bro.
argue. No, if we go to because the problem I have with you, Razio.
Yo.
I also wanted to ask you one thing. Sorry to deviate. Oh my god. I have to ask you one thing before we go too far.
Go ahead, man.
Did you play Kane's Abomination? Legacy of Kane?
Well, let me tell you. I played Soul River. I played Legacy of Kane
That's why you
Defiance.
got your name.
Yes, exactly.
Alright. Because I've always wondered about that.
Yeah, exactly. It's from Raziel, the character there. Exactly.
Oh yeah, there's only one Raziel in the whole of this.
Time.
So I knew from the beginning.
Has there ever been?
There was never been.
I don't think there's
never
ever
been
been.
another Raziel.
Yeah.
There isn't.
Shout outs to flipping Blood Omen and Legacy of Kane and Soul River. That franchise was fucking amazing. That's all I have to say.
Back.
Yeah, no.
Let's go back to what we were talking about. Let's go back to what we were talking about. Resident Evil. We're not even gonna Resident Evil. They fucked up.
Yes.
With the remakes.
Village DLC, I'll say for fact, yes. I have no idea what was going on there. I don't even have it.
It's just added first player, which is what's it called? Third person perspective, which is good. And then they added some other DLC where you're using the kit, which is fine.
Yeah.
I can't play games in first person perspective because it makes me woozy. It's called vertigo. It makes me sick.
Yeah.
That's why Resident Evil 7 I couldn't play it. Resident Evil 8 I couldn't play it until they put the DLC. But it was up for Game of the Year last year. It lost again. Baldur's Gate 3. You're saying it's not going to be up for...
I am asking or assuming that I assume that a game has to come out in 2023 to be eligible for 2023.
Didn't Baldur's Gate 3 come out in 2023?
Yeah, it technically, officially, yes. But it's been out since 2020. I don't know if early access is counted. Is early access a release or not?
It's not a release. Early access is more like a beta.
But they had early access for 2 years.
Yeah, I've been playing Baldur's Gate since October 2020. That's when early access began.
He got it a long time ago because I remember
What?
It was forever.
You're talking to someone who really loves Baldur's Gate. So
Baldur's Gate 3.
No, the thing is, you know why I say that works for PG3? PG3 works because first of all, the type of person that signs into like a beta or signs up for early access is going to be a portion of the population, and you can see that now on PG3's release. So many new players came up on PG3's release. And there are so many concurrent players now, more than they've ever been, that the retention made it so that Starfield is now number 2 this week on Steam. As I think it was as of yesterday, Starfield went out even after just being released afterwards.
Yeah, right.
It dropped to number 2.
Right now.
So I think most of the people that have jammed it are from now. Although the hardcores and the opt-ins, the people that actually made it good because they got to do the
feedback and all that stuff.
They went in, but I think it's okay for PG3 because the public release was so much more staggering.
I won't lie.
And it was only
if Larian messed up Baldur's Gate after what 1 and 2 did for the world, oh shit, oh shit! After Baldur's Gate 1 and 2, oh shit.
I don't think they could have because Larian. Remember, Charles, we've both played Divinity 1 and 2.
Yeah.
After Divinity 1 and 2, I was just like, you know what?
There's no chance.
PG3 fine.
Yeah.
There's no chance. Larian is special. There's very few times you can say a company is special. Larian is one of them.
Yeah.
And for special, I consider not just making good stuff, but like in a specific niche.
Yeah. I think at this point, even if they reskinned Original Sin and just put it in the Faerun,
it would still be good.
Yeah, they just needed to take. Yeah.
The original sin was porn before porn was porn, bro.
Yeah, so I don't know. Yeah,
I knew they couldn't mess it up.
Yeah, so I don't know. Just to bring it back, I think we can move for maybe 10 more minutes so that it doesn't go on too long. Generally, taking it back to MK versus Street Fighter. I'm actually reading somewhere now. I'm on Event Hubs, and there is a sentence where
you're on Event Hub or you're on another hub.
Oh shit!
Oh my God.
The director of Street Fighter 6, right, Nakayama says, "I feel the same. Since 2018, we were constantly working on this game, and our goal was being the release date. They were trying to meet the release date, even though it took longer than expected. So they were working on it since 2018.
For what? For MK what?
Oh no, sorry. Street Fighter 6.
Street Fighter.
Alright, Street Fighter.
Yeah.
It makes sense. Street Fighter, they put in a lot of work.
Yeah, they did. My question is, in 2018, people were still playing MKX and Injustice 2.
Yes.
11 was still yet to come out. They had been working on 6 since then. I wonder how long they were working on MK1. That is my question. Because
let's be honest.
I do not think it's 5 years. I do not think it's 5 years.
No, I think they started it maybe this year.
Because
let's be honest, there was no teaser, there was no nothing. So we can't even give them more time. We can't even give them more time.
And he was like, dude, we didn't even get there. All right, give me a buzz.
Because let's be honest, if you look at Injustice 1 and Injustice 2, they didn't really change much, except maybe added better colors and they maybe added a few mechanics. So this game was supposed to be maybe Injustice 3. Then they're like, you know what, MK sells games.
Bro,
let's try making
I want to say something. I swear to God. I want to say something.
Mm.
When Injustice 2 came out and I started playing Injustice 2, I felt like Injustice 2 was just like DLC. I keep saying this a lot, but I felt like it was DLC for Injustice 1 because it was basically the same game, just with better graphics and more edit characters. A different story.
Then customization.
So
for
I
the
didn't jam 2, like, but I watched these guys.
You didn't miss a lot,
in the
bro.
Cauldron
Except
Blade.
for Atrocitus, but you didn't miss a lot.
Really? I
You
thought
did.
so. Was it? Are you telling me it was just the models that were different? Because I thought the character models
my
different.
my question to you, maybe before I say anything, is what did you think about Injustice 2, or what question do you have about it? Is it about its look or its gameplay?
It's I've seen the look, so
Okay.
it's about how it performs.
Okay.
And what was different in terms of the character behavior, the physics behavior, the frame data
Who
changes.
Starfire become the best in the world?
It's
Did
like
they just change?
I feel like with Injustice, I believe from my experience, Injustice 2 was too jarring an experience if you never played Injustice 1. Can you see? Now the issue with me is that I never played Injustice 1. I knew it existed. I didn't even watch it. I didn't know really what was going on in that game, right? So I just went from MK9 to MKX to Injustice 2. If you are playing NetherRealm games all together, I would advise you to play on both sides. So for example, the people who played Injustice 1 kind of got the idea of what was going on. In terms of that, the game is not so much about pressure, frame traps, mix-ups, rushdown. It's more about spacing and projectiles and zoning and air mobility for some characters, blah, 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 right? There are these things that are game-to-game specific. But the thing is, when you go from MK9 to MKX, you get to realize the design that is happening in Mortal Kombat at the time. MKX felt like a better MK9 to me. When you go from MKX to Injustice 2, these are now two totally different games. One game is running much slower than the other. One game feels like the characters are heavier and your movements have so much recovery. Injustice 2. One game feels like it promotes projectiles so much. Injustice 2. The stages are probably 2 to 3 times longer than MKX, so which means once you lose corner position to a zoner, you are going to have to walk that person down so long before you can get them to the corner and pressure them, right? Hence why the clock.
I remember.
Hence why the
Sonic.
the clock was like 340 seconds for a reason. Because I believe 60 seconds or 99 would not have been enough time for certain characters to win. For my take is that the clock was an indication of the balance of the game. Because as each patch released and the game got rebalanced, the clock also got changed. That to me is an indicator. Because a standard clock with the standard amount of time, with the amount of distance in the stage and the lack of options people without projectiles had, it would have been unwinnable for certain characters. But then I guess people found a way to make it work, so it worked out well. But then if you still move on towards the later game of that game's lifespan, still the strong characters were not melee characters most of the time. They were just not. That game was mostly a zoning game. Sadly as it was. That's what people ended up doing, gravitating towards.
It was a Call of Duty, but
it was a third-person shooter. It was no. Sasori is a wise man. He'll just break it down. It was a third-person shooter.
Because if you think about it, all the mechanics were secondary to zoning. Because if you imagine you spend 2 bars just to roll forward, only for me to back 3 back to the corner, back 3 to the corner.
No, I remember
Why am I going
seeing
to get another
some
2
of
bars?
Sonic Fox's play, and I was disgusted by it at the beginning when I saw it. That's probably why I never even touched it.
It was bad. I'll never forget this day. There was a time when the Last Emperor, aka Bennett, who got footage. Guys, we've got footage of Injustice 2. It's released, and I've got Sonic Fox gameplay. And it was just Sonic Fox shooting people with dead shot. He was just shooting people with dead shot, right? So Dalu might still have the recording. We recorded it with his phone. Ben took a piece of plastic, right?
It was Superman and Deadshot.
It was he put the piece of plastic over Sonic Fox so that we would not see him and only see the person getting shot. So the game was, will we ever see Sonic Fox again to cross the plastic? Will he ever go in? He never did, and he always won. That's when we were like, what the fuck is going on?
That was terrible. You know, I thought that would be game ruining. Like, because that first week he just started shooting.
That shows you.
Like, oh my god, that's Aaron Black again.
Yeah, that's the power.
But at least Aaron Black is something different. You know, there's options in Injustice 2. It was just terrible.
Yeah, it shows you the power of like when people really love a franchise or a company, they are willing to look past many things. And I feel like Injustice 2 in particular, because that's the one I had experience with. In the beginning, people looked past many big problems just out of love for NRS.
Which is bad.
Which is bad. Like you should.
Because we'll get back to the main topic of right now. Yeah, just continue.
Actually, it's this. I feel like it's part of the reason why MK1 right now. Funnily enough, all the reviewers in terms of the companies that make the reviews, positive reviews. But the people playing the game like the game, but no one is happy. You know what I mean? It's like liking and being happy. It seems like there are two different things in this case. Everyone's like, yes, MK, we are looking forward. You know, let me do some nice things. You know, I can finally put my two favorite MK characters together and make a plan. Cool, nice graphics, all that stuff. But are you satisfied? No, not really. The net code. The moves list are pretty short. Actually, there's a bug here. This and that. So it's like, I don't know. So I feel like with MK1, it will be successful because of the love people have. In one group, Jurassic Bunny was like, just give it a few more patches, it will be okay. I mean, the game literally came out yesterday, and we're already saying just give it a few more patches.
Few more pages, it's good. Because your days gone.
We did that in X. We did that in 11 when they said that we released custom variations. Only when the game was dying, that's when they released custom variations.
It doesn't make sense. That's why I responded to him, and I was like Cyberpunk? It's like, are we promoting this type of thing where it's like, okay, let the game come out dead, and then we'll buy it and wait a few more patches.
Because I saw the Idris Elba trailer just now, and that's exactly what the convo was around it. It was like, oh yeah, no, it got good eventually.
Going back to Cyberpunk.
Man.
It got good eventually. But some people are gone already.
Yeah, some people are gone. But funnily enough, I saw, for example, Walter was posting that, oh, finally I can finish my playthrough. That is not...
Dude, the first mission is the best mission of that game.
Yeah. So what's up, Sorry, please, again?
The first mission of Cyberpunk is the best mission of the game.
Oh shit!
The Arasaka Towers.
Yeah, exactly.
Shit. Man, yeah, it's so generally speaking, like we used to complain about it with Call of Duty, where we'd be like, it's like they're selling the same stuff over and over again. It always comes out with issues, and people just accept it because it's Call of Duty, and then it gets fixed. People like it, and then next game comes out.
NBA 2K.
So at this point, it seems like this is the business model that is working, and I feel like that's the reason why, for example, people are so praising Baldur's Gate. Even people who have no idea what Dungeons and Dragons is, they are loving it. It's just a game that came out and worked, just like Street Fighter 6. It just came out and worked. Exactly. I swear, if Street Fighter 6 had bugs, if it had bugs or issues, it would be in the pits right now with Street Fighter 6. Because I feel like that game...
It's like 5 as well. Remember 5 at the end.
Yeah.
At the end, it was working.
Yeah, in the end, it was working. It was fire. In the beginning, it was the struggle. It was the struggle, yeah.
And it was like one of those, you could have done all of this.
Yeah, so I don't know. At the end of the day, I'm on a wait and see. Not that I'll play the game. There are better players to play the game instead of me. I'm a wait and see to see if it will really get better. If it will really get better, or people just like calm themselves and slowly accept that they bought into something that was never truly finished. I don't know. But before we close out this podcast, I guess if we can go one by one. If anyone has any last thoughts, you can throw them in and then I'll close it out. So I'll call up D2. Is there anything else you'd like to say in regards to anything?
The only thing I would like to say is that I think people really need to stop pre-ordering the game. Like, look, for instance, at Street Fighter. We got 3 versions of the game before the game came out, and there were no bugs, no one complained. So at least them, if they say pre-ordered, you know that the game's going to run if you pre-ordered. Whereas MK PC had no stress test, and also the stress test for PS5 and Xbox were limited to North America and Europe. Half of the people in Latin America didn't get it. Forget about Asia and Africa. Who cares about them? So yeah, let's stop pre-ordering. It's not going to help anything. And this thing where you pre-order and you get another card, that's just a marketing scheme. What will happen if you don't pre-order? You'll lose chance. You're still going to buy them for $5.
Yeah, that's actually true. I remember.
It won't fix the game.
They'll
get all the money, but they'll still won't fix the game.
Yeah.
So stop pre-ordering. The money is there.
I believe the pre-order bonus for Street Fighter 6 was just colors. I think that was it.
Yeah, for 7 characters.
Yeah, I think it was just like
colors.
That's it. no one got anything that can be used against anyone. It was just colors, and that's it. I remember I pre-ordered MKX. Oh shit! I wish I never did that. That game's netcode was bad. The crypt was so broken. They gave us a DLC, free DLC, which you download it and it just unlocks the crypt. Actually, this will be this is my final note for this one. MKX, in all the initial DLCs, one DLC was crypt unlock for $19.99. How buggy do you think the crypt was for them to sell you the crypt unlock? So to say sorry for how broken the game was, they gave everyone the crypt unlock. Because also the game would delete save files. Even till today, MKX on PC deletes save files. So at least after that, I knew I didn't have to go back to the crypt to get people's costumes for tournament. The only problem I had was that I had to keep on replaying story mode because I was a Shinnok player. And I had to have Shinnok for the tournament. So I replayed MKX's story at this point probably 20 to 30 times. Because that's how many times I lost the save during the years I played the game.
You know what? It took them 4 years to fix it with the ads. It's now fixed.
You have to ask.
Took them 4 years.
Or when they put in the ads for MK11. The 30
because when I'm
patch.
playing, that thing where it crashes and you lose all your coins and your what experience, it's gone. But the game was long dead after that. So what was the point?
Just to answer King, I was only a Sonya player ever in my life in the MK trilogy and MK9. I only started playing Sonya in MKX because I was tired of unlocking Shinnok every week. That was the only reason I went back to playing Sonya. I was fucking tired. That story mode was not even interesting in terms of the story. It was not interesting.
That was a thorn in your brain, bro.
That's when at that point I was like, you know what? I have once played Scorpion in my life. I have once played Sonya in my life. Let me just play those characters. They are always there. Then I lost my save. I think right now if I re-download MKX, I don't have Shinnok again. So fuck my life, right? So Sipo, any last words you'd like to throw in?
I think I don't know if there is a pattern, but sort of an extension to what D2 just said about not buying not pre-ordering. You need to stay on these guys' necks, because then what you start to see is that you have this cycle of good, then shit, then good, then shit. It's almost like the Windows cycle. Remember, there was a time, the Windows cycle, where you'd only get the second operating system. 98, fantastic. ME crap, XP fantastic, Vista crap, 7 fantastic,
8 terrible.
Could I add
8.1, that's when it became okay again, and it's so it's almost like when they get a poor reception, that's when they actually decide, okay, fine, we actually on the redemption tour now, so keep them on the redemption tour all the time. And you can't keep them on the redemption tour if you're filling their pockets with pre-order cash.
Yeah, no, that's true. Sadly, I feel like they'll still keep going for the casual players. They're always going for the casual players.
Of course,
I don't know who these casual players are, because they're never there after like 3 weeks.
And you don't. One of the successes of Larian is that they go after. Exactly. You know what I love about Larian? To speak of it, is that Larian goes after its niche. It goes after D&D.
Yeah.
And you have to learn D&D.
Yeah.
You actually have to learn it.
Yeah.
And there's this guy, I don't know if you know Josh Strife Hayes on YouTube. He talked about MMOs and stuff like that. And one of the things he said was that, in terms of the model of today, there's a lot of passive consumption, almost like the way you watch TV, people in terms of expectations of that jam, and almost forgetting that you have to be a willing participant to a certain extent in the fun. So now people have started to adopt an idea of, let me buy the game and I should just be able to sit back and it should be fun, instead of you being a willing participant in that fun.
Yeah.
And one of those examples is in fighting games. Why then it's hard to retain casuals. You need to learn that timing. You need to learn about frame ticket. You have no choices. Those are things you have to do for over time. It's no choice. You must learn it so that you can enjoy the game. The same thing goes with MOBAs. Or at least it used to go with MOBAs. Maybe they're getting simpler over time. There was a learning curve that you had to get over for Dota, for Dota 2, for anything really. And then you would have fun because you'd be a willing participant in that. And that's sort of missing in what Charles says when you go for casuals. Don't go for casuals. Let casuals come to you. There's a meet halfway. You're supposed to learn something and you can enjoy, the product, but you need to, there's something you need to do. You can't always go to casuals. We'll put it back on the shelf after 3 days. So the people who have jammed the story mode. I noticed that there was a few things Charles were talking about MK1. That right now, the people who say I love MK1, they're the casuals because they enjoyed the movie. MK1 was a movie in terms of the story mode. But the people that stay with MK1 for the next 4 years until MK2 comes out are the ones who get left behind, because the movie is just this couple of weeks. But the game itself is for the next 4 years. The netcode is for the next 4 years. So you gotta cater to the right people.
Yeah, I feel like for sure in terms of this isn't just MK1. In terms of fighting games as a whole. For example,
as a whole, yes.
I used to love, for example, Guilty Gear to some extent, and then Strive. People still love it, but we're not. Yeah, we won't lie and say that Strive is a game that catered to the hardcore Guilty Gear fans. I don't think so. So it's like it's a thing that's happening to the whole fighting game or competitive game space, and it doesn't make sense. I remember when they were showing. Yeah, they were showing like the initial footage of like Baldur's Gate 3, and then when the early access came out, I went to YouTube, I subscribed to the Dungeon Cast, and I was daily listening to podcasts about different things about Dungeons and Dragons 5th edition, because I had no fucking idea how 5th edition works.
5e was confounding at first.
I had no idea what was happening in this game, because I was like, the old RPGs that I ever played that were based in any Dungeons and Dragons were probably 2nd and 3rd edition, and that was it. 4th and 5th edition, I have no idea what's going on. I went to the Dungeon Cast and I learned and I played the game. Now I know what's going on. I like the game. So it's like, if you are casual, so and so, you don't want to go read a textbook to play a game. But in this case, I didn't read a textbook, but I had to do some reading. You know what I mean? It wasn't. So it didn't. It wasn't so easy.
I don't know how we did it because honestly, like no one had to read the textbook for SF, right?
But
we just sort of got it over time, where you just enjoy it and you keep going, and we'd get our butts kicked by Seth. In a way, now these days you can't even get beaten by Seth on ultra hard. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But at those times, there was something about the way we just powered through and learned how to jam it rather than just running away and just being like, you dedicated to us.
Yeah.
Like, my gents, like my gripe with these casual players, right? They keep on saying, "Oh, fighting games are hard. Fighting games are hard." Like that's the entire point.
Yeah, that's the
entire
truth.
point.
Yeah, right.
You're supposed
that's
to
the enjoyment.
Get good. You're supposed to. First of all, yes, of course, as a child, you're gonna get messed up real bad, but at the same time, strive to get better in such a way that you have a lot of vengeance in your heart to actually beat the guys that would always beat you. Like, you can always make reference to my first tournament I ever played in Street Fighter 5. I tend to look at that video once in a blue moon, and I'm like, damn, I've come a really long way from where I started. I had no combos. I had no idea how to play the game. So that's my biggest takeaway when I play fighting games. Like, I want to be able to do what these other people are doing, right? And even when you play MK11, right, when you get outplayed by the CPU, you're like, damn, I wish I could play like this. What should I do?
Yeah, I know. It's true.
Then you find these casual players saying, I can't do combos. Then the devs are like, nah. What? Then the devs are going to be like, nah, we're giving you simple button combos. 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 2, 2, 2, 2, 2, 4, 4, 4, 4, 4.
Yeah.
Then you're like, bro, okay, where's the hard shit?
No,
do you know that 111? The people who use the 111, that's my thing. They drop it after 2 weeks.
Yes, exactly. They bought
and
the game.
you who was pining for the thing, you're now abandoned in this thing.
Yeah.
You've now been abandoned.
Yeah, it's sad. It's like that, but I feel like that's more so not to do with the time, but the people. People now have greater access to technology and maybe games, so you get to see more people coming to these games. Sadly, back in the day, the only people who really wanted to be playing games are the people who wanted to play games. It wasn't everyone has access and then people choose whether they want to or not. Back then, it was like people were looking for that stuff. These days, anyone and everyone can download
efforts to jam.
It's very small.
Massive. Yeah. We used to try and get NAG and PC format, and we used to jam demos. Like demos were an exciting thing.
Yeah, because the thing is, it's like, okay, fine. Like you're saying, it's about improving. I remember when I was a kid, we were playing Tekken 1, Tekken 2. We'd pick a character and literally just do every move in the moves list, and we would then try and memorize everything in the moves list. So it's like we didn't know how to play the game, but I could recite. I had no idea, like, plus this minus that, no idea. But I could recite move lists for characters without even picking them, because we just went in there and just repeated over and over and over and over. Then with time you realize, every time I do this move and the PC blocks, I am dead. Okay, so make sure it is not blocked. You know what I mean? That's as far as frame data went.
It would take 100 times.
Yeah, but there was that 100 times. These days, or these people will try 2-3 times. Yeah. After those 2-3 times, it's done. It's like, oh, this doesn't work. Oh, why should I try any more than this?
Because when the gacha age, where people actually pay for stuff, pay to win.
Yeah.
It's now part of it's been ingrained. So challenge. It's like, no, let me put down $4.99
and win,
so that I can get auto combos, and then I'll be okay.
Hold on to that thought. Sasori, any last word from you? And I guess King, if there's anything else, and then I'll add the final thought onto that one.
Well, me talking about getting good, that was like my closing.
Okay. Yeah. Sasori, please.
Sorry.
No problem.
Continue.
Oh no, I was saying, like, any last word from you? Anything you'd like to add on to this before we close it out?
I just want to say, man, like being a legacy game, there's no problem with that. Like, you know, Taken, you play one Taken, you probably play them all. But I feel like NRS, which is Mortal Kombat, just doing cash grabs. They haven't really gotten us.
Go ahead.
They haven't really gotten us good shit.
Yeah. I don't know. It's like what you are saying is what I like. It's part of like the final thing when I told Sipo to hold that thought. There was a time when they had announced the game and they had announced the like combat pack, like the DLC characters they will release. And I remember telling Dalu Joker, I was like, wait and see these people start selling the assists as well. And then when they announced the Ultimate Edition, one of the perks was that they will be DLC assist characters. Then at that point, it's like, are we venturing into pay to win or what? Because if I don't have that assist that's good, what happens to me?
I think you should press your cameo. Back with you. For life.
Yeah, so I don't know. It's I really wish to see what will happen to MK1 in the next maybe 8 months, like up until next year, maybe February, March. It will be really interesting to see. But I guess we'll close it off here for now. I'd like to thank everyone who's been here and anyone who's now listening to this as it was uploaded. Thanks for listening in. Hopefully, as the game progresses, we'll have something else to say. Until then, thank you. Have a good one.